Hi everybody! With the End of Dragons livestream scheduled for tomorrow, I just couldn't keep the hype to myself and wanted to share my Elite Specialization suggestions with you. This is my third video on the topic and it will cover the heavy armor professions of Guardian, Revenant and Warrior. So without further ado, join me as we geek out over some epic specialization theories. Guardians have two amazing elite specializations already, so it will be hard to find them a new niche. They don't really need another bow, and rifle and pistol don't seem like Guardian weapons to me at all. Apart from that, the only weapons left are daggers or offhands, which aren't that exciting since the Guardian already has 4 offhand options. What I suggest instead is similar to my Elementalist Elite Specialization in that I'd like Guardians to get foci in their main hand. The focus is the closest we got in-game to an unarmed weapon, and I think tapping into the monk concept would make sense with us going to Cantha. The focus would function as a spirit-bending fist weapon, whereby Guardians could use not only martial moves, but also their signature blue magic, which is actually identical to the monks from the first game. One of the skills, for example, could be the monk punching forward and sending out a flying fist of energy, which pulls enemies on its return path, similar to the Chronomancer's shield. Another skill could be them doing a sweeping attack to damage enemies, and 3 could be them raising their fist into the air so that a giant blue fist slams into a target area, stunning everything and leaving behind a symbol. Yes, Revenant Hammer does say hi. We already have some focus skins that look more like fist weapons than magical accessories, so I think this could work really well. The profession mechanic would change virtues into upkeep skills, similar to the Herald's facets, that first need to be toggled on to provide a passive bonus, and you'll soon see why I'd like that change. The utility skills would be glyphs, since Elementalists cast them by drawing magical symbols in the air, and I think that fits not only the monk, but Guardians in general. So we already have animations for them, and they could interact with the profession mechanic. Since virtues would now be activated and kept up one at a time, glyphs could receive bonuses based on whichever virtue you have active, just like how they interact with Elementalist attunements. As long as you have Virtue of Justice enabled, for example, you do get the passive burn on every few attacks, of course, but your glyph skills also take on offensive aspects. Your healing glyph could also apply might, your offensive glyph could apply extra stacks of burning, and your Conde Cleanse glyph would transfer those conditions to your enemy. While if you have Virtue of Courage active, your healing glyph would apply protection, your offensive glyph would apply blinds, and your Conde Cleanse glyph would apply stability too. So this would require a bit more attentiveness than the core Guardian virtues that all provide passive bonuses at the same time without needing to toggle them, but in exchange we could nudge all of our utility skills into a specifically targeted direction for greater effect. So, I hope you liked my idea for the virtue-enhanced glyph-casting fist weapon Guardian, and if you have other ideas for elite specializations, let me know in the comments. Now, if the Revenant's Canthan Elite Specialization isn't going to be the Ritualist, ArenaNet are clearly out of their mind. Revenant is the ritualist profession, down to the blindfold, the misconnection, hell, they can already summon spirits, so ArenaNet, make it happen or we will riot. Obviously the legend would have to be Master Turgo, an iconic Canthan character with an iconic Canthan profession. Also, it would be hilarious if Revenants could use both Shiro and Turgo, and they could talk to each other, not just the player characters most legends do. Like, that would be amazing to listen to. The utility skills of the Revenant are always legend skills, and for the Ritualist that would be spirits. Sure, you might say we already have spirits in the Renegade Char summons. Hell, even I said that we already have spirits in the intro. However, ritualist spirits could function more like turrets or ranger spirits. Rather than being limited time, targetable ranged AoEs like the Char, well, most of them anyway, they would appear where you stand and then provide benefits. Spirit of Anguish, Spirit of Shelter, Spirit of Disenchantment, etc. could all make a return from the first game, since Ritualists and Spirits are conceptually very strong. They just need to be brought up to par to Guild Wars 2's level of polish. The profession mechanic could be Ashes. Ashes were a somewhat odd skill where your character would hold an urn in their hands, preventing them from attacking, but which had effects when you dropped them. Although thematically amazing, it would probably be too clunky when it comes to gameplay, so rather than held items, Ashes could be F skills that you could target from range and then drop an urn somewhere. Naume's Ashes, for example, could res downed players in a targeted area, which is a skill that other professions already have. This would just add it to the Ritualist. The Ashes of Lingua could recharge the cooldown of one of your spirits, and Kurong's Ashes, for example, could knock down people around you. The new weapon would be the Scepter. It fits the Ritualist very much, and it would make a nice ranged option. I just don't know whether any of our current offhands would be a good match. What would be cool though is if we got both Scepter main hand and Focus offhand. Warriors did get 2 daggers as part of their Spellbreaker specialization, and any Elite Specialization that gets a 2-handed weapon ends up with 5 new skills anyway, with some getting far more, like Weavers. So I think we could easily get 5 new weapon skills for the Ritualists too, and that would be a nice package, both a ranged main hand and an offhand, since they made Revenant staff melee, even though there is a perfect Ritualist staff skin for it. Although I have given up hope of ever seeing Dervish in Guild Wars 2, there are some professions from the first game that ArenaNet still hasn't completely gutted and divvied up between others, and I think Ritualist is one of them. Between the Spirits, Ashes and Scepter skills, it would feel different enough from other Elite Specializations, and I would love to see them added to the game. Also, do click like on this video if you also know the awesomeness that was the Ritualist Spirit Spammer build. Last but not least, we have the Elite Specialization for the Warrior, which is also going to be one that's close to my heart. In my Mesmer Elite Specialization video, I mentioned I may be talking about spears, so to those lovely 500 of you who have watched that one, thank you so much. It may not come as a surprise that I would like warriors to become paragons. The iconic weapons of the paragon are spears, which I don't think will be converted from the actual underwater spear, but which could very easily be simulated with staves, a weapon that warriors also don't have yet. Many staff skins look spear-like, and several professions use staves to attack from range, so it's just a matter of adding an epic spear skin to the warrior's Elite Specialization staff, and using some animations. There are already some paragons in the game actually, so it is somewhat confusing why ArenaNet haven't added this as a player specialization yet, but better late than never, and they could still integrate paragons into Cantha, for instance through the Kurzek. The Kurzek are deeply religious ceremonial people who have cathedral-like buildings in the Akkerwald forest and worship the gods and saints, so they are a perfect match for the angelic paragon. Warriors would make great paragons because they fit the color scheme of the class, and having a ranged build would actually make a nice change after the Berserker and the Spellbreaker. They already have banners and shouts which bring great utility, so they could get chants to go along with that, which were a paragon signature skill alongside echoes. Mechanically, chants could work like mantras before the recent update. If you remember, mantras had to be charged up by casting a channel skill for around 3 seconds or something, and only then would they have their instant charges. Paragon chants could be based on that concept with some tweaks, for example that you start channeling a skill which ticks 3 times, with each tick being more powerful than the previous one. And since I know how annoying it is to be knocked down on a Tempest while I'm trying to complete an overload, warriors too could get a trade that grants you stability while chanting. thematically, these chanty mantras would be perfect for the Paragon and would be another example of ArenaNet being able to implement something they already have the design and the mechanic for. The professional mechanic could change bursts by adding echoes. You could have 5 bars of adrenaline at any time, but bursts would still stay capped at stage 3, and any adrenaline in excess of that would be added as an echo. For example, on the new weapon, the staff/spear, you'd throw a fast javelin at a target doing damage, and if you have excess adrenaline, it would leave behind a brand on your target that pulses burning to enemies around it. So let's say in 10 units of time you can either burst 3 times for the basic damage, or burst twice, but get certain bonuses that may be worth the trade-off in the slower and thus fewer bursts. For example, if you're fighting a single target or something that you know will die quickly, you can burst him down 3 times, but if you have ads around that mob, or you know it will stay up for a bit longer, you'd probably want to have the eerie burn echo. I feel like Core Warrior works alright, and Berserker really fulfills that quick bursty damage build, so Paragon could be the supporty slow burn build instead. So, as you probably noticed, several of my Elite Specialization suggestions have been inspired by the first game. That is because I believe that the franchise has such rich lore and already existing concepts and class identities that ArenaNet would be foolish to discard them. This video has now completed my Elite Specialization suggestion trilogy, so if you haven't seen the videos for the light and medium armor professions, you can find them on my channel right there. I hope you got some fun out of my ideas and my absolute excitement for the upcoming expansion, so share your own thoughts in the comments. I love to get into these sort of geeky fun discussions. I'll be looking forward to the End of Dragons live stream, just like you, I imagine, so I'd like to thank you for watching my videos in the meantime, and please do like and share if you've enjoyed them. Thanks for watching.